Hey, it's Alyssa Sequoia. Welcome to my podcast, Flow with Me. I'll be sharing thoughts, ideas, stories, my music, my comedy, and whatever flows through in the moment. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy. I honestly have no idea where I would ever travel to. There are a million places that look absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. And in the moment, I'm like, oh, I'd love to be there. I'd love to go there. But guess what? You get there. Is it really like what you imagined and you fantasized? And how about travel? How about traveling? For me, to buy a plane ticket and spend money on that plus jet fuel and contributing to that, which is drilling for oil and polluting the air and going to a beautiful, gorgeous place and contributing to the tourism to that place, which is damaging to the ecosystem wherever it is, that's completely overwhelmed by tourists. And I just like wrestle with that. I mean, I, it's really, really challenging for me. So I breathe through it and I just stay put. And I'm in my 50s and it's like, well, hey, you know, how I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here on this planet. And there are all these beautiful places to see and experience. Am I doing the right thing? Am I just, it doesn't matter if I'm doing the right thing or not. I just have to go by my moral compass, my internal moral compass. And that's what feels good to me, is just not being a tourist on this earth right now. Plus the fact that I have to eat certain foods. I eat like 8 foods. I think 8. I think I eat 8 foods. Cauliflower, broccoli, strawberries, blueberries, purple potatoes, cilantro, orange pepper, almond milk, coconut milk, turkey breast, tofu. Okay, so that's 11 foods. And that's honestly that's it. Oh, I eat flax seeds and chia seeds in my smoothie. So that's what? That's 12, 13 foods if you consider flax seeds and chia seeds foods. And listen, some places where I live in the US on the East Coast are drivable. So the other thing is, my husband is the homebody of homebodies. I think we planned a trip to Maine years ago, and the minute we set out on the trip, he went into a funk in the car, into a deep, deep funk. And it was like we were on our way to go on a vacation to explore a town in Maine, a lovely town called Portland. And he went into a depression, in a funk. So, he gets rooted down and comfy in a place where he feels good, and that's it. That's it. And also, he can only eat certain foods because he has histamine intolerance. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that. It's fucked up. It's just completely fucked, where, you get massive migraine-like headaches, brain fog, all kinds of shit. And so he eats what I eat. Okay, so the two of us eat 12 foods. So, yeah, I mean, when I see pictures of Italy, when I see these beautiful waters, it's like, would I like to go experience that in the moment? Yes. But guess what? What is there to eat in Italy? Am I going to find my 12 foods? No. You know what I'm going to find? Tomato sauce, shellfish, pasta, cheese. You know what I'm going to get in Italy? Agita, heartburn. Italy, home of the heartburn. They may have invented pizza, they may have invented pasta, but you know what else they invented? Fucking heartburn. That's what they're world famous for, the agita. I can't do it. I made a comment. There was somebody on Nat Geo Travel, National Geographic Travel, and they were showing previews of this series they have coming up where Stanley Tucci, who's an actor, walks around Italy and tastes all these fucking things. What are these things? Fried rice balls, tomato saucy, cheesy this, wine that. It's like, I said, oh, no. This show should be called Beyond Acidic, a high histamine, unhealthy nightmare. Because that's what it is. That's truly what it is. They don't show how he feels the next morning or how he feels that night on the toilet. They're not showing that. No, I'm sorry. No, it's not a healthy way to go. I'm not trying to spend a couple grand to get heartburn. So take a breath. Somebody has entered into the area. Hello.
Hello.
This is James, Leo, Mountainsteam, Sklar.
That's right.
And he's back once again, back from the beyond.
Yeah, back from beyond. That's right. It's been quite a week for both of us.
Yes, it has. You're right about that.
And you were talking about histamine intolerance.
Yep, I was.
Well, boy, did I go through it.
Yes, you did.
I've had this histamine intolerance. I didn't know what it was at first.
Mm-hmm.
I was having dark chocolate and I would get these awful headaches.
This was years ago.
Years ago.
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but say you would have massive amounts of dark chocolate.
Okay, so yes.
Daily, gigantic doses. Okay?
Yes, I agree with you.
Okay, let's just put that, facts out there.
Yes, I definitely had, but it was affecting me nonetheless. And
where you would get massive headaches.
Horrible. They would come on. What would happen is I would eat chocolate over a few days, a good amount, a very good amount. And then in the middle of the night, I would start getting a headache to the point of by morning, 6 a.m.-ish, it would be crazy. And it would be pounding and debilitating. And I kept thinking, well, what is going on here? And I would take like a Tylenol at the time.
And that didn't really work.
Didn't really do much. Kind of went away like late in the day. But, it's something I found out that I had. So now I know more about it. So there are foods that are really high in histamines, anything fermented, citrus.
So let me just backtrack.
Yeah.
So it was happening with the chocolate. You would get a massive headache.
Yeah.
Then you got the, the shot, the vaccine, quote unquote vaccine.
Yeah.
When COVID was around, you got the Pfizer vaccine. After you got the vaccine, your allergies or reactions to things heightened like 1,000%.
Yes, my body's way of handling histamines before that shot was okay. Afterwards, my body, I don't know what that shot did to my body, but it made my reactions to histamines like off the charts.
Right. So then it would be like you'd have tomatoes or tomato sauce, anything fermented, gone, out. Vinegar, wine.
But it's not only that. Like I can't have banana, but there's certain foods that are called histamine liberators, meaning they may not themselves have a lot of histamines, but when you eat them, like a banana that's not ripe, it liberates the histamines in your system.
No,
When
Jim,
you
wait a
have,
second, sweetie. It's the bananas that are overripe that are the worst.
yes, I was getting there. So what I was saying is the bananas that aren't very ripe still can liberate histamines.
That's true.
So that's what I'm trying to say here.
Okay.
So, but as the bananas age,
Yeah.
they got a lot worse. Like I can't have aged beef or dry aged steaks, that kind of thing.
And you just found out you can't even eat beef at all anyway.
No, and it sometimes happens over the course of a few days where I had ground beef over the course of a few days, and sure enough, bam, it hit. So this latest thing, just to fast forward to what's happening in the interest of time,
Yay!
is there was about, I don't know, maybe a week's worth of having sweet potatoes, and then one day I had a really big portion. So
let's just explain what a big portion is. Like a quarter of a sweet potato.
Okay.
True. That's not a big portion for a lot of people.
So what I was doing is having like maybe 4 or 5 slices, and then I moved up from there and doubled that. So yeah, for most people, not a very big portion.
Right.
So what happened was I got a headache, a really bad one, and it happened overnight. And that day I just was like, what do I do? Because Tylenol not working. I took an Allegra, not working. Aleve, I was told, isn't good for people that have histamine intolerance and really doesn't work well.
And we called the doctor.
Wanted to know about a few different medications. Doctor was not able to prescribe them or really do much for me. They said, oh, why don't you go to the ER? Okay, so
I said, why don't we try weed? Why don't you try smoking pot?
Yes, here in New York State, it's legal recreationally, meaning if you're over 21, just go into a store and buy it.
Because when I used to get my period, it was the greatest gift ever. And it's just pot. It's not a pill. There's no chemicals. It's not. And it was a fabulous muscle relaxant and helped me with my menstrual cramps, which were insanely painful.
Yeah, and so you suggested that I smoke it. I was a little trepidatious to smoke it, so I said, okay, let me get some oil. And let's go to this dispensary where I can find the quote unquote cleanest, most natural oil there is. So I got something that was organic coconut oil with pot resin.
Because we told the woman, you have massive intolerances and allergies. So we need, and I said, please get something to smoke because I wanted you to have immediate relief.
Right. And I said, well, I don't know if I want to smoke. Let me try the oil. Maybe that'll work. It's more potent. So, and you saw on the label that it said takes 4 hours to hit, takes 4 hours to work.
This was after you took it. I saw that.
And my experience with pot, with edibles, is it's been like an hour. And then
meanwhile, you haven't ingested pot, smoked pot in 8 years.
Yeah, a long time. However, I took the recommended dose. I didn't take anything more, but I did take the recommended dose. So what happened was we went to this event in basically where we live.
I just want to say something about the event. It was with Food and Water Watch to reject a data center, another data center being built in a town right next to us. And if you don't know about data centers, you got to check this out because they're horrific. They take all the water from the surrounding areas, people's drinking water, to cool off all the all the equipment. What is that stuff called?
The servers?
All the equipment,
they're called servers.
Whatever it is, it's just to cool all that stuff off. And they pollute. They use diesel generators, which run constantly and create noise pollution and diesel fumes. And so they're building them fucking everywhere. So this planet, on top of having nuclear power plants, is now having to deal with fucking data centers being built everywhere. And they're taking people's drinking water and polluting the environment. And check it out. okay? Get involved and stop them from being built wherever it is that you live. Okay, Jim, please continue. We went to an event.
Yeah, I was about to say that. So we were there protesting a data center or data center, however you want to say it. I'm going to say data center. It's a little easier. So so we were at this event and protesting with a bunch of people, and it turned out they actually canceled the meeting. The village, it was at a village hall, and they canceled the meeting.
Purposely.
So we were at this event, and there were speakers, and we were listening to the speakers. It was really, really interesting, and to hear them all talk. And I felt like this is very cool. I'm happy to be a part of this protest of the data center, the data centers, or the data center that's planning to be built. So all of a sudden, I start to feel clammy. I start to feel like, oh my God, someone's shutting my internal light off. And what I did was I didn't quite know what to do, but I had the instinct at the time to go away from this protest.
You were like, Liz, I have to sit down.
Right. So I don't even remember saying that, but I went and I walked to this area that it was grassy. And I thought, okay, let me just sit down. Let me just take a moment. And so
when you said, Liz, I have to sit down, I was like, oh, okay. And then a second later, I was like, I have to sit down. And then I looked and I saw you hit the ground on the grass, like fall down.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I guess I wanted to just like get as close to the ground as possible. I didn't know that I fell that hard. I had no idea. And then Alyssa says, "Oh,
I walked over to you."
You walked over to me and said, "How am I going to get you to the car?" So I started to stand, and then this is the part where I don't remember.
So what happened was right then, I was sitting on the ground with you and I was looking around and I was like, oh, there's that dog walker, that woman from the park. And then I looked back at you and I was like, honey, how am I going to get you in the car? Because I could tell you were kind of like woozy and out of it. And you were like, it's okay. And you stood up. And when you stood up, your eyes rolled back in your head. You turned white and gray. And that was it. And you were going down. So I grabbed you and with all my might tried to hold you up against the wall of the building. And that is when I started screaming bloody murder at the top of my lungs. Please help me. And I don't know how long I was screaming for, maybe a minute. And about 15 to 20 people rushed over and somebody screamed, call 911. And they all took hold of your body and lay you down on the ground. And they said, don't let his head hit the ground. Hold his head, hold his head. And I was literally paralyzed. I literally was in such a state of like paralysis, fear. Because I knew I wasn't strong enough to hold him up. Like he's like 198, I don't know, and 6'1". And here I am, 5 feet, 118, 117, I don't know. And it was absolutely terrifying. And everything happened so fast. And then, he comes to, the cops are there, the EMTs show up, the ambulance, and they were talking to him and he sat up and he was still grayish, but he was looking around and he was like, Liz? And I was like, yeah, I'm right here, baby. Like, it was just unbelievable. And I told everybody, I'm like, he had pot oil. He had pot oil. And the cop was like, we see this almost every day. Somebody has pot oil and faints. It's very common. And he said, it just happened to my grandfather at my wedding. He had a headache and somebody gave him pot oil. And he fainted at the wedding, my grandfather, the cop said.
Yeah, I mean, you don't I would not recommend, needless to say, I would not recommend having any of this oil for anybody, histamine intolerance or not, because you don't know what you're putting into your body. You don't know how they're extracting.
What are the solvents?
Yeah, what kind of solvents? Maybe it's hexene, maybe it's something like just toxic. So I didn't realize that the cop had said a lot of people were passing out.
He said you were the third person that week.
Wow. So what it does is it lowers your blood pressure tremendously. I don't have any issues with blood pressure. My blood pressure is just very normal.
Because you're an athlete, you have generally low blood pressure.
Yes, my blood pressure is good. And that was really, really, really scary. So the people that have the gummies or any of that kind of stuff, take small doses of it if you're going to do that. Or don't take it at all, because you don't know what they put in there, and there's really not much of a standard when it comes to these things. There's nobody looking out to make sure these ingredients are safe, because it's federally illegal. Many states it's legal, like New York, but many states it's not, and federally it's not. So there's really no oversight. So what do? You go to the flowers, you go to smoke it. And that's what Alyssa told me to do. And thankfully it was here.
It was
organic. And it's funny because I'm like, well, most quote unquote medicines you take, they all have side effects, every single one of them. But the thing about this side effect is it makes you giggle, happy, and sleepy.
Let me explain
part
something.
of the 7 dwarves, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. Let me just back up for a second and say, when I realized after you had taken the tincture, the oil, that it was going to take 4 hours and you had this massive headache still, I'm like, why don't you just try smoking it? Because you don't want to wait 4 hours. So the minute we went to a place right by our house, got an organic pot, and you smoked it, and instantaneously you had relief.
True.
They had kosher pot there.
I know. Can you believe it?
Which we thought was funny, because it's like, what is that? Like salmon that you take home and smoke the salmon? I mean, what is kosher pot? Comes with a bagel and a schmear.
Yeah, you probably get it afterwards. You probably have a craving for a bagel and a schmear. But can you believe it? That's true. There was, you can get sun-grown, organic, obviously all the different kinds of levels of THC. And for those of you in the know about the THC levels, there was stuff there well into the 20s and 30s. And that, as far as percentage of THC, to me, that's too much. I think in my previous, pod days, I was going for the really high THC, but really what's better to me is having lower THC, and then you can use it as medicine, and it feels more like, I was explaining this the other day, it feels more like having a sip of wine versus shots of, vodka or something.
Right. Well, the good news is that you found out that that's helpful and that works, where we're at a time in the world where there's not much available information-wise or medicine-wise for histamine intolerance for you. And whatever you can find right now that's, on the natural spectrum that helps you, I'm all about it. Yes, use it. Yes.
Yeah, the stuff that was prescribed to me, that I looked it up, it's scary. So why would I want to put something like that into my body when I can use something that's very natural and I actually know what I'm doing and I get relief from it?
Right.
And it's not harmful or toxic, and who knows? I most likely had a reaction to the pot oil, not just from fainting, but a histamine reaction, because even the next day, right, I had a headache from that.
Yeah, you did. And we didn't know if it was from the IVs you got in the hospital or from the whatever they used in the pot oil.
I would guess it's probably from the pot oil.
You said you were smarter the next day because you shut down,
right.
And then you were rebooted.
Right, exactly.
You got rebooted.
So when you call technical support, have you turned off the device back on again? So I was turned off and turned back on again, consciously. So that may have helped my level of intelligence. I don't know. I was just kind of joking about that, but maybe we all need a little bit of a reset.
Okay. Well, it's good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
I think I experienced like what do you call that? Like
Trauma,
I experienced trauma from that.
post-traumatic.
Yeah, I did. Like I don't have enough post-trauma, but that was a little much for my nervous system to see that happen to you, to go through that experience. And then a couple days later, I had a little bit of a meltdown and I realized, okay, yeah, my nervous system went through it and it's like just being reactive right now. And, but moving on, we had our landscaper here who is, his name's Mike. He's Ecuadorian and he's adorable. He looks like a garden gnome or an Ecuadorian Smurf. And he's just a sweetheart and fixed up our yard. So that's great. And we're getting our house together over here. We went for a walk today and guess what? I got a cat call. Guy drove by and I was walking with you and was like, nice earrings. And I was bouncing around on our walk, smiling and happy. And I'm like, what? Not what I was expecting.
Well, I'm not surprised because you look really good. But what I am surprised about is like, I'm not a small presence and I'm walking with you. So it wasn't like you're with like a girlfriend or by yourself. So, and this, I was also saying, he's driving by. So he's saying it as he's driving by. But yeah, I mean, as I told you, he has good taste.
Thank you, honey. So listen, we're going to try to make some road trips with the summer approaching and maybe we'll see if I can extract this guy over here from the house. And
you will. I'm happy. I love it here. And, switching over from renting to owning, there's a pride of ownership. And I feel like...
and you're a Leo.
Yes. So there's... yeah, exactly. So I'm a Leo, lion. We love our pride that's here. We love our den. Well, it's more like a bear, I guess.
It is.
But still, yes, I love it. I love our house. I love where we are.
Listen, I want to say something about this guy who's talking to you right now, James, Leo, Mountainsteam, Sklar. Check him out. He's got a website called Yoga with James. And what's the...
So it's yogawithjames.info.
Yogawithjames.info.
Put the link in the description.
He's a yoga teacher. He's a phenomenal yoga teacher that has a following here where we live in New York. He is beloved. He's old school. He does the Sanskrit and he's just starting to do like a sound bath at the end of class with his singing bowls. And he works over Zoom. You guys, if anyone's interested, hit him up and check out his skills as a yoga instructor. We all could use a little yoga in our life. Ain't that true? So true. We all need it. We all need to get into those geometrical positions. The geometry, physical geometry.
Yeah, like triangle.
Right?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of good ones, and I appreciate the plug. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for hanging out with us. We love you.
Love you guys. Thank you for having me on your podcast, Lissy.
You're welcome. Peace out. So that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. It was great hanging out with you. For more information, go to my website, alyssasequoia.com. Peace out, friend.